Hello, yes, hi, and welcome to the Dark Knight Conspiracies, episode 96. TV or not TV? That is the question. I hope everybody had a happy Easter, happy Passover, and this year was no different than any others. Like my past episode, I said, keep an eye out for around April 15th, because something always seems to happen. It's, again, a well-known satanic date, and usually, as I said, go do your research on events that have happened in the month of April over history, and you'll be surprised at how many significant events have happened. And this weekend was a little calmer than usual, but we started out with one mass shooting that led into two more over the weekend. So we had a total of 3 mass shootings, and I'm not going to break them down because, quite frankly, I'm just going to get pissed off and go on another rant. And I turned on my TV. I can't stand watching any of these other networks anymore, so Newsmax seems to do a decent job. I still got my issues with them, but for the most part, they hardly covered any of this. Everything, if you notice, everything is Russia, 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 Ukraine, Ukraine, Ukraine. Now, from my perspective, I think Ukraine is relevant because of the biolabs and things of that nature and what Putin's doing in there. And again, I'm going to point out, if Putin wanted to take over Ukraine, he could do it in 48 hours. The fact that he's just targeting this Mariupol seems to be the key focus, which is where all these groups are that are fighting, and I'm just going to call them groups. I'm not going to get into the whole German N-word, but we know that that's what's being reported in there, and we know that group exists. But things are starting to tense down. Zelensky's out there, I need more, I need more, I need more. Biden's, again, more of our taxpayer dollars are going over. Anybody know where this stuff is going? Who's getting this money? What good is I'm sorry, somebody needs to explain to me, what good is money giving them money? Again, it's Ukraine is the most dirtiest country, one of the most dirtiest countries on this planet, with the money laundering and everything else that goes on. The sooner Putin can wrap this up and produce the evidence, the happy I'll be. And again, I'm not saying Putin's a good guy, but are the Ukraine people innocent? Yes. Pray for them. They're the innocents in all this. Again, it's the government of the country that's corrupt. And that is what Putin is fighting against. So getting back to the mass shootings, again, I'm not going to dwell on it. You can go look it up. But what we saw, and the reason why it didn't get any press or play on TV like it used to. Remember during the Obama years? I mean, that's all you saw 24/7 whenever there was a shooting. And you know why? Because it fit their narrative. Because the shooter, their race and ethnic background fit the narrative. Now all of a sudden, we're seeing the shooters aren't the white supremacists that everybody expected. So they don't dwell on it because it don't fit the narrative. Why would they show a black person who through his Facebook and YouTube posts, which, by the way, were never taken down, he did a pretty good job at saying what he thought about other races, and I'll just leave it at that. So, yeah, they tried to, push the gun control thing, and people just they don't care. It's not going anywhere. You're not gonna get rid of the Second Amendment. Sorry, folks. So every day you turn the TV on, it's all it is. It's Ukraine, 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 Russia, Russia, Russia. My whole point of bringing this up, and this is why I titled this TV or not TV, is shut the damn thing off. I've said this before. If you want to know, go do some digging. I know people don't have time, but get on the internet if you want to find out what's going on. I've said before, Zero Hedge is a good place to get world information. The Daily Mail, the #1 publication outside of the U.S. If you want to know what's really going on around the world, they will put up the articles that you won't see on TV. It's time to start canceling them. I'm not a fan of this cancel culture stuff, but I don't miss it. I really don't. I mean, for years I used to watch Fox religiously. That was my news network go-to, and I can't. God, I want to say it's been at least a year since I've turned on Fox. Can't stand it anymore. It's, when your eyes are open and your discernment is up there, you see through the BS right away, and it's unwatchable. It is unwatchable. So the whole point of this show is to get you focused on, because of what they are reporting on TV, they're not telling us what's really going on, and this is why you got to go elsewhere. So I'll just start with these. Okay, here's, the 3 mass shootings, and you go through, and, of course, you got Philadelphia, New Orleans, I think New York was the first big one. Again, pretty much Democrat-run cities, right? And then we had the federal judge comes out, and which rightly so, says the CDC overstepped their authority. Again, this crap of these institutions that we don't elect any of these people. They're not a legitimate form of our government according to the founding fathers, but yet they hold all the power. And they've been wrong every single time. Trust the science. And I'm telling you, these people all wear flip-flops because every day the story changes. So, Philly says, we're not going to listen to the judge. They've got their mask mandates in place. LA's coming out now. We're going to ignore the judge. We're not going to listen to them. Okay, fine. But my point of all this is, they're keeping you focused. They're getting you agitated by putting this stuff out there every day to where you're not paying attention to what the real problem is. And we're going to get to this towards the end of this video. I just want to point these things out. Here's my buddy. This is a CDC issue. It shouldn't be a court issue. They should be above federal courts and law. They're not hiding this anymore, people. And I don't know what it's going to take to get people riled up. The American people are tired of this. All right? It's been 3 years now. We're done. Where are all the mass deaths? Remember the first 2 years? That's all you saw when you turned on the TV. Remember how on the right side of the screen, they'd show you the count by state? Cases, deaths. Where are all the deaths? I can tell you where they are, and they're not coming. They're not coming from this. They're coming from something else, if you know what I mean. So this was interesting because I got a phone call last night and said, "Oh, turn on the TV. Oh, the Capitol's being evacuated. There's a suspicious plane moving in." I'm like, "Oh, good. I got something to watch, something to dissect." I turned on Newsmax. Not a thing. Not a thing. Apparently, Fox News ran with the story. And even the ticker on Newsmax, nothing. Well, come to find out, it was a false alarm. And it was over. Now, keep in mind, people, they have these TFR sites, right? These no-fly zones. There's a permanent one over Washington, D.C., over the Capitol. Okay? So, you would think they would know what's going on when a plane over National Stadium, baseball game, how these sporting events have these parachutists fly onto the field. I mean, and it turned out to be a false alarm. But, you know, my take on this was somebody jumped the gun. Now, how I'm going to back this up is I immediately went on the web, and everybody remember that that nuke alarm that went off over Hawaii several years ago, and how people literally took cover, got into storm drains, and some of us know what the real backstory is behind that. I'm not going to get into much detail because, you know what, I can't prove it. It's a good theory, it's a good conspiracy, but until somebody brings the receipts, I can't prove it. You know, it's just like all this snake venom stuff that's going around. Good story, folks, but you know what? So far, nobody's offered any proof, so it makes a good story. Again, getting everybody riled up. Out of the blue, this comes now. Sorry, can't vet it. Nobody's providing proof. Like I said, good stories, good theories. But let's start seeing the evidence. Where's all the whistleblowers? Come on. Anyways, so simultaneously, while this was going on, lo and behold, I found this. Taiwanese TV station accidentally broadcast news of mainland invasion. Somebody jumped the gun, folks. This is all pre-planned. They have these stories ready to go. And it seems like somehow signals got crossed, and again, this never happened, but yet they went on live TV warning their citizens. I remember, you know, me and my sister talking, because I remembered calling her, because I always turn on the news first thing in the morning when I'm getting ready for work, and I remember Fox News playing the eulogy slide for Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and lo and behold, she died like, I want to say 2 years later. Again, why would you have a story like that ready to go with the slide? Somebody jumped the gun. My point is, this is all pre-planned. They've got these incidents all pre-planned. It's just a matter of when they pull the trigger. We're being deceived. We're being duped. on a scale that's off the charts. So here's what I want to get into. This is what they're not telling us, and this is what people aren't paying attention to. If you think things are bad now, you ain't seen nothing yet. What are we hearing? People are complaining about inflation, gas prices, food prices. Yeah, food prices are going up, but again, is there really a food shortage, or is this what they're telling us to get us all panicky? There could be some truth to it. I always go by the rule, 90% of the story is fake, but there is a core, I'd say 10% of truth in a lot of these stories. You know, everybody went in an uproar over the oil, over the gas. Since that started, yeah, there was a big uptick. Gas rose exponentially, but you know what? It's tapered off now. And it ain't got nothing to do with the oil reserves that Biden is supposedly releasing. And that would not make a dent. Again, they're manipulating everything. And this is why I'm telling you, if you haven't started preparing, do so now. Whatever you can do, it doesn't hurt to be prepared food-wise. Because yes, I see the prices. Chicken is through the roof. Beef is through the roof, no matter where I go. Now another thing, if you're not aware that, you know, Shanghai, 42 million people have been in massive lockdowns for quite some time now. These people aren't allowed to leave their homes. Is that coming here eventually? Possibly. We know this is what they tried to do the first go around with the COVID stuff. They wanted us submissive, staying in our homes. But this has been going on for a while now in Shanghai. And again, you got to filter everything because we know the country China is, and you got to take everything with a grain of salt of reports that are coming out of there, right? Because we know it's state TV. We know China controls everything. So again, 10% is probably true. But what you can do to back things up, and this is what nobody's paying attention to. This is a marine traffic website. Now, I use this in my profession, same with the air traffic, to track expedites that go overseas and this and that. So when my customers request something to get there as soon as possible, you know, you put it on a plane or you put it on a boat, and then you track it. You can get the booking number and you can actually track the vessel. This is Shanghai. Now, this is what I want to point out here. Okay, the red dots, these are ocean tankers. Like I said, you can pick any one of these and you can pull up the individual container and this and that. The green are cargo vessels. Now, I want to point out this is got a little bit to do with food, not a whole lot. These circled dots, as you can see here, all throughout. Now, this is the biggest port in China. Those circled dots, those are anchored vessels. And you can see this on the coast of California also. These are empty containers that are just sitting there with nothing on them. And you can tell this is a big overhead, but if you zoom in, we're talking thousands Why is this relevant? Where do we get all our shit from? Toys, furniture, electronics. Starting to get the picture? You're going to start seeing shelves disappear. You're not going to be able to buy stuff. You're not going to be able to buy parts. You won't be able to get TVs, because you know what? We don't make any of that shit here anymore. Thank you, government. You know, the Orange Man tried to point this out. We got to start making things in our own country. But my whole point of this is, if you know anything about transporting stuff by ocean, so from China to the West Coast, minimum would be 4 to 6 weeks just in travel. You tack on maybe a couple weeks to get the container loaded and out. Can you see the backlog here? We're talking months before any of these vessels move. So this is the point of my show. It's, you got to stop focusing on what the TV is telling you and go around out there and find out what's really going on, because they don't want you focusing on it. Because once you do and you start getting the word out and more people start reporting on this stuff, you start to get awakening, you start to get awareness. And you start to realize the people you trust the most, and that includes doctors, teachers, reporters, news people, judges, government. The people we trust the most have all let us down, and it's up to us to do something about it. You know, that's the other thing that they're, you know, this whole Florida stuff with this don't say gay bill and everything. All distractions, folks. Now, teaching children in school, no, that's not a distraction, that's real. And you're starting to see parents get upset and starting to take action against these school boards. Again, there's more of us than them, folks. And that was one good thing that the whole lockdowns, that came out of the whole lockdown thing. Parents got to stay home with their kids and got to see what they were actually learning in school. They miscalculated on that one, folks. So that's my rant for today. I hope you find the information beneficial. I will leave all of the links in the description. Please hit the like, thumbs up, thumbs down, subscribe, share the videos. Word of mouth. We are the news now. Us, the digital soldiers, the ones putting content. And, you know, that's another thing going on out there I'll just touch on briefly. Boy, the arrows and the attacks are out there. Everybody is just accusing everybody else, taking down everybody else. This person's a shill, that person's a shill. Well, I can tell you, when you got discernment, when you can read between the lines, when the Lord gives you that sight, that vision, to see through the bullshit and understand what the truth really is. Just like Pontius Pilate asked Jesus, and what is the truth? So sit on that one for a while and contemplate that. And until next time, as always, stay strong, stay safe, stay vigilant, be prepared. Keep your faith in God. Put put your life in his hands, and he will take care of you, for he is the one person that will never lie to you. And with that, God bless everybody. Until next time, Zebra 3, take us home.